Well, good morning. It is Thursday, March 11th. Happy Friday Eve, as we like to call it. I'm Danielle Wiggins with your 3 News Now morning update. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me on the WKYC Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Because this is all online, feel free to share your thoughts on the stories covered in this edition of 3 News Now. And as always, you can let me know your name and where you're watching from. We have your top stories in just a moment, but first, let's get a check of the forecast with 3 News meteorologist Matt Standridge. Because you can enjoy the weather today because it's not sticking around, that warm weather.
Hey, thanks, Danielle. Temperatures today still in the 60s. It'll be our last day of those 60s before a cold front arrives tonight, dropping us back into the 30s and 40s. But with that cold front, we have the chance for rain today. This morning, we've had just a couple light showers here and there, not a big deal. But as we press on towards the afternoon, those showers become a little bit more widespread, and we could get a few pockets of some heavier rain right around sunset tonight for that evening commute. Be on the lookout for that. And there could be a stray rumble of thunder. We're not expecting severe weather. That's the good news, but stray rumble of thunder later this evening. And then the rain pushes out of here, and we should be drier going into your Friday. Here's your National Zymar hour-by-hour forecast. It's windy and warm today. We should be in those 50s and 60s, but then we'll watch for some of that rain later throughout the afternoon and then picking up this evening. The last round, though, will come right ahead of this cold front, right where the warm air meets the cold air. And right along this front that's where we have the best chance for getting a stray rumble of thunder. Notice the time, 5 o'clock. So we'll be watching some of this heavy rain push on through. This is 6 o'clock, so over time it heads towards the south and east, but then on the backside we'll start to kind of clear out, and then temperatures get a lot colder. Waking up tomorrow morning, hopefully we'll be above freezing. We should mainly be in those 30s. How much rain can you expect today? A couple tenths of an inch, maybe closer to a half inch further towards the south. There'll be a little bit more moisture towards the south, so you guys in Dover, New Philadelphia, close to that half inch. But a lot of us, a couple tenths of an inch today. Here's your Subaru 7-day outlook. We'll be in the 60s throughout most of the daylight hours today. But as soon as the sun sets, that cold front will swing on through, and then we're going to get much colder as you head into your Friday. And we stay on the cool side. But honestly, we're probably getting closer to where we should be roughly this time of year. We should not be in the 60s. Danielle, we should be in those 40s.
Oh, well, thank you, Matt. Oh, we were used to that, not average. But okay, let's turn to the coronavirus because starting today, Ohioans 50 and older can get vaccinated as part of Group 2B. That will add another 1.2 million Ohioans to the list of those eligible. Those with type 2 diabetes and end-stage renal disease are also eligible today. The state launched a centralized website to make it easier to sign up for a shot. If you are interested in making an appointment, you can see the website on the bottom of your screen. So that address is gettheshot.coronavirus.ohio.gov. And this is all happening as Ohio sees its second straight day where our coronavirus cases exceeded 1,800. And also a second straight day we've exceeded our 21-day average. On Wednesday, the state reported 1,868 new cases. And just yesterday, the U.S. House passed the COVID-19 relief package. The $1.9 trillion bill includes stimulus checks for most Americans, billions to help schools and colleges reopen, and funding for vaccine distribution. The White House says President Biden will sign the measure tomorrow. And now that the bill has passed, some questions you may be asking are, how much is that stimulus check going to be? And when will I get it? Our Brandon Simmons explains some of the changes, including when you might get your cut.
The motion is adopted.
More money is coming to small businesses, schools, and most Americans in the form of stimulus checks. The $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan now headed to President Joe Biden for final approval. But not as many people will receive checks as income thresholds have been reduced. That means no money for individuals who make over $80,000 or couples who make over $160,000 per year. Individuals making up to $75,000 and couples making up to $150,000 will get $1,400 checks for themselves and each of their dependents. Parents will also get more money to care for their kids through child tax credits. Families could get $300 each month for kids 5 and under and $250 per month for kids ages 6 to 17 using the same income thresholds. The monthly payments mean you're not waiting for the credits like you would have in years past.
Instead of having to wait an entire year to get that credit via a refund, you now start to have that benefit on a monthly basis.
And those out of work get help too. Unemployment benefits have been extended through September 6th, continuing the $300 per week payments currently in place.
This is the most consequential legislation that many of us will ever be a party to.
And the big question everyone wants to know is, when will the money hit your pocket? The goal is to have stimulus money paid out by the end of this month.
Help is on the way. You will receive $1,400 checks by the end of March.
Thank you, Brandon. And tonight, President Biden will hold his first primetime address since taking office. The president will mark the one-year anniversary since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic and will discuss the impact of the coronavirus on the U.S. and the path forward through the pandemic. Stick with us here at 3 News through our digital platforms to find out everything you need to know. We'll keep you informed on the latest from Washington. Alrighty, time to take a look at 3 stories you should know this morning. First, it's official. Ohio Representative Marsha Fudge is the new Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. She is the second Black woman to lead the department and the first in decades. As the head of the housing agency, Fudge will inherit the challenges of America's housing crisis worsened by the pandemic. Vice President Kamala Harris swore in Fudge in a virtual ceremony yesterday evening. And a cool fact, Fudge was sworn in from Warrensville Heights, where she used to serve as mayor. And a new name may be added to the race for Rob Portman's seat in the Senate. It's journalist and talk show host Geraldo Rivera, who, well, he now lives in Shaker Heights. Rivera, who is a Republican, tweeted that he is mulling over running for the job. Portman announced in January he won't seek re-election next year. Rivera told Cleveland.com that he and his wife would talk it over for the next few weeks before deciding. And Solon High School principal Aaron Short has been cleared of all alleged wrongdoing. Short had been on paid administrative leave after the district said it had received a, quote, concern about her. Yesterday, the Solon Police Department said it had closed its investigation and no charges will be filed. And this morning, we are remembering the life of Cleveland broadcasting legend Joe Tate. Tate passed away yesterday at the age of 83. The legendary voice of the Cavs and a million memories had been battling cancer. Tate made his way to Northeast Ohio in the early 70s, and that was the start of him becoming the voice we all love to hear for decades, calling Cavs games. At times, the Cavs were so bad, it was Tate you would tune in to hear. The way he called and described the game, unmatched. He simply just was the best. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Joe called Cavs games up until 2011 after experiencing some health issues. But always the influence. He returned to call the team's final 5 home games to go out on a positive note. As WTAM's Mike Snyder points out, Tate's catchphrases became a kind of soundtrack for the team.
And he had great humor, he had wit, great phrasing. When he was calling a game and you were listening to it, it really was more entertaining quite often than watching it on television.
In a statement, the Cavs said Tate wasn't just a member of the family, he was part of the Cavs story like no one else. Also adding, to paraphrase the legend himself, let's not say goodbye, let's just say have a good night, everybody. Well, it has been a hard year for all of us. Some more and some, of course, more than others. But happy surprises come when you least expect them. Just ask a waitress at Slyman's. Our January Keaton has her story.
It likely started out as just another busy day at Slyman's Tavern in Independence, except this particular lunch rush came flushed with cash for one waitress named Tanya, who got the surprise of her life. Tanya didn't want to go on camera, but we know she was stunned to find herself $2,000 richer thanks to a couple of widows whom Tanya had the fortune of serving. Rebecca Reamer is the marketing manager for Slyman's.
2 women came in during the lunch hour, and ordered a bunch of food for dine-in, but they also ordered a bunch of takeout as well.
Seems pretty straightforward, right? Except while dining, the two women struck up a conversation with Tanya about why they ordered all that food. All three found out they had something in common.
They had told their server, Tanya, that the reason why they ordered so much takeout was because they just don't really cook that often since both of them had lost their husbands.
Tanya also lost her husband in April of 2020 and hadn't cooked since either. The three widows bonded over grief amid the corned beef, and
they told Tanya that they wanted to take care of her. They told her that, everything was going to be okay. And we just want you to know things will get better. Obviously they had been there. They've been through it. They tipped her a $2,021 tip. When she saw it, she was absolutely shocked. Her initial reaction was, I can't accept this.
But the women insisted, feeling a sense of solidarity with Tanya, turning a bill of just over $100 into $2,121.21. 21. Hopefully a sign that this year will be a bit brighter for Tanya.
Thank you, January. Well, the pandemic has been bringing out random generosity in other diners as well. In May of last year, a customer at M Italian left a $1,000 tip on a $118 bill. And in November, a server at Nighttown snagged $3,000 in a tip on a $7 beer order. Wow. Alrighty, well, switching gears to the latest in the royal battle between Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and the royal family. Just today, Harry's older brother, Prince William, became the first royal to directly address Sunday's explosive interview Meghan and Harry did with Oprah. The future king defended Britain's monarchy Thursday against the accusations of racism from his brother and sister-in-law. The two told Oprah there were concerns over how dark their baby's skin might be. Prince William insists that the family is not racist. Harry and Meghan's interview has rocked the royal family and Buckingham Palace. Prince William's comments were made during a visit to an East London school. So let me know your thoughts on this situation in the comments section. We, of course, have this full story posted on WKYC.com. Okay, time now for the best news that we hope that you will hear all day. One of Cleveland's favorite celebrations is around the corner. Okay, we are talking about St. Patrick's Day. And Cleveland bars and restaurants are beginning to reopen and gear up for some much needed business. So this year, the holiday will certainly look a little different without the parade. Downtown's Winking Lizard, Beer Market, Market Garden, and others have opened up this week. Meanwhile, the Brew Pub at Great Lakes Brewery, which has been closed since January, is finally reopening its doors on St. Patrick's Day.
We're hoping to have a busy day, but just like we've had several events throughout last year, we're keeping everyone socially distanced. We're keeping, masks are required. We're following all of the guidelines. So while it won't be like our traditional St. Patrick's Day celebrations, it still will be a good time.
And all of this is a sign that life in downtown Cleveland is slowly beginning to reemerge. Well, thank you for taking time to join me for this 3 News Now morning update. Our digital team will continue to bring you the stories making headlines around Northeast Ohio and beyond. Make sure you continue to check our social media pages and WKYC.com throughout the day for the latest on your stimulus check and the news developing during Biden's address tonight, the president's address. I'm Danielle Wiggins, and I'll see you tomorrow on Go starting at 4:30 a.m. Have a great Thursday, everybody.